Yo, I want to chill right now.
You're disrespecting me in a public forum right now. You realize that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want that to be the goal of the podcast, for somebody to let go of their worries in the world and listen to us.
This is my new look, Daddy David. Daddy David.
Born to procreate. Born to procreate. Yeah, that better make it in the intro.
Nah, probably not.
Welcome everybody to this most holy of occasions. It is finally episode 69 of the Unboxing Life podcast.
Yeah.
We are here to review Rage Against the Machine's debut album, their self-titled Rage Against the Machine, 1992. Classic, so
Absolutely.
we're about to get into that. But first, I got to introduce my merry men who are with me. We're going to jump into traditions after that. We got freaking the student of militant poetry, studying that shit. What's going on?
It's your boy Cameron. You know, reading the lines, reading the poetry, turning them over in my head, all that good stuff.
Nice.
Turning them over.
Very nice. We got Bomb Bap Track, Alex.
That is me, episode 69. Are you dumb, stupid, or dumb?
Okay. And we got Take the Podcast Back.
You know I gotta put the podcast in every one of my names, presume. Every single one of them.
Evidently.
Trevor. Yep. We in here. And I'm David. And we're here.
No, he's wake up and smell the bullet in your head.
Yes. That is my overly long name for this. Yeah.
Gotta read your own.
Yeah, you gotta have that self-confidence, my man.
That is true, yeah. Well, we are here. We're about to jump into traditions. Who should go first?
I would like to close, I think.
That makes sense. I'll go with the joke first.
We all wearing clothes.
Okay.
Great. Yeah, is that the joke of the episode? Because that was hella dad right there. That was insane. And it was pretty fast. God damn.
Yeah.
Yo, that J. Cole
It's just become ingrained.
Before you like that J. Cole joke, when I heard it again when I was throwing it up, was hilarious, dude.
Yeah,
that was such a great joke. J. Cole.
J. Cole.
I'm glad you like it.
Good lord.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that it's a good thing that we decided to listen to this album, because I was working out. My trainer was telling me that I should be on the resistance bands. And so I listened to Rage Against the Machine. You know what I'm saying?
Dang. That's dope. I thought it was going in a different direction.
I thought it was too.
I
thought he was gonna like start punching the bag like I was raging against the machine or something like that.
Yeah, like the workout
Something
machine.
like that,
Yeah. Resistance bands. Nice. I'll go with... Who's going next? I'll go next, because I'll just throw it out there real quick. Not too much to talk about. I hope to Christ I haven't recommended this before as my track of the week, because...
Okay, let's see.
I don't think so. It is Close Your Eyes and Count to Frick by Run the Jewels. And featuring Zach De La Rocha, the frontman of Run the Jewels. It also, something great about it is it samples him in the beat. Is the Run the Jewels fast. That phrase just goes on and on. It's pretty great.
That's him?
Yeah.
This entire time that's been him?
Uh-huh.
Do you know what song that's from?
I think like it's for them. Like he did it for them. They just sampled it and then
Gotcha.
used it
That's
like that.
fire. Yeah. I didn't know that was Zach.
Oh, that's sick, actually.
Yeah. That's really dope. Yeah. If you are a fan of Run the Jewels and haven't heard it, obviously, but if you're a fan of Rage and you're tuning into this, please check out Run the Jewels, man. I think you'll enjoy.
They're like, it's weird to say that they're the hip hop counterpart to Rage, because Rage has hip hop elements in it, but they literally are like the rap equivalent of Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, I like the modern day. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, check it out.
Fire. I like it.
Yeah. Okay, Trevor. What's the
right,
quote?
Let me do something real quick. I'll do something for you real quick.
Oh boy, performance.
Hopefully it picks me up.
All right.
He's got to get away from the mic.
Oh! That's my quote, bro.
I knew. I honestly like every time I heard him do that, and then the beat kicks in, I'm like, Trevor just nutted. Like Trevor just fucking loves when this man does that. I'm sure for a fact.
It's the same with like Pusha T, where he goes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best shit ever, man. I love like ad libs that kick into beats, like, and I can just picture myself doing it on stage and getting like mega hyped is
yeah. It's sick.
Fire.
For sure.
He does it at least once in every track on here. So.
Oh yeah, it's lovely.
It's freaking meaty.
I love it too. Yeah,
lovely.
It's beautiful.
All right, Cam, what you got?
We got a bit of a story of a fact. It comes from the Wikipedia page that I'm paraphrasing, but it's titled "Rage Against the Machine: Political Activism and like News" or whatever. Like they have their own. They're so involved. Like they walk the walk so hard about their music. Is like they have a whole Wikipedia page about like times that they've like actually done real shit for political activism. So this one is that on April 10th, 1996, the band was scheduled to perform 2 songs on Saturday Night Live. The show was hosted that night by Republican ex-presidential candidate and multimillionaire Steve Forbes, who is, you might have heard of Forbes list. According to Tom Morello, quote, "Rage wanted to stand in sharp juxtaposition to a billionaire telling jokes and promoting his flat tax by making our own statement." End quote. To this end, producer Brendan O'Brien suspended 2 upside-down American flags from their amplifiers. The inverted flags, says Morello, represented, quote, "our contention that American democracy is inverted when what passes for democracy is an electoral choice between 2 representatives of the privileged class. America's freedom of expression is inverted when you're free to say anything you want until it upsets a corporate sponsor. Finally, this was our way of expressing our opinion of the show's host, Steve Forbes." End quote. Just before performing their first song, Bulls on Parade, stage crew for SNL forcibly removed the flags from the stage, and Rage went live on national TV to perform without the flags present. After finishing the song, SNL producers instructed the band to leave the building immediately, without performing their second song of the night, which would have been a thoroughly censored version of Bullet in the Head.
Yeah.
So it's like all about just the cuss words like and the offensive, like, or offensive, like, quote unquote offensive, like stuff you can't show on national TV, all FCC stuff. I mean, I have my notes on what I quoted from Bullet in the Head that I can, but
yeah,
you definitely brain dead. You got a bullet.
But it's actually, I mean, the fact that they were gonna perform Bullet in the Head on national TV when it's a song about like the media invading your home and telling you what to do and all that stuff is like.
Pretty nuts, yeah.
The fact that they were then not allowed to play it.
I had heard that story, yeah. It's pretty crazy. Just get kicked off SNL for that. That's kind of nuts.
Yep, mid-show.
I think I just watched, and like I guess I'll just keep tacking on to the stories. I just watched a video of them from like 2009. I think they were on BBC, and they had like a little interview, and then they played a song, and it was Killing in the Name. And they asked them politely, I guess, to not like just censor the word fuck, like just don't say it. And he basically does it like right when because he doesn't curse the entire time until that last bit. And the first like 4 to 8 bars, I think he censored himself. And then once he starts yelling the song, he literally throws up 2 middle fingers like, "Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me."
That's so good.
Dude, they don't give a shit.
That's so absurdly direct, where they're like, "Please censor this line," and then he doesn't censor the line, and the line is like, "Fuck you, I won't do it." That's absurd.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, you love it. They definitely walk the walk. I know, Cameron, you sent us a text about like the live versions. I had heard him on like the deluxe edition I'd heard years ago. Yeah. And there was like a concert they were at, and like part of it was them just like handing out petitions and like talking about this guy who was like, I think wrongfully like in prison or something, and they were like doing stuff at the concert like before they were performing and in the middle of it. It was crazy.
There's the part where he's like, "Turn the fucking light off. I can't even see the damn crowd." Like,
it's so good. He's like, "I'm talking to these dudes. I can't even see them." All right, thank you. And then he's talking about like, send these dudes mail. Like go through the, like, they're not telling people like, I mean, the music is obviously very abrasive, but they're not actually advocating for people to like go and like, fuck up politicians. They're like, go through the proper channels. He says like, fill this fucker's room with mail. Like it's like, and so, they walk the walk for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Zach De La Rocha has I think a PhD in anthropology, and Tom Morello has Yeah, Tom Morello has like a degree in political science from like Howard or some like Ivy League school, something like that. They're pretty.
Isn't he also Kenyan American?
Who, Tom Morello?
Yeah.
He might be.
I thought he was a white dude this whole time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know Zach is. I think both of his parents are Mexican American.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. All from California, I believe. Yeah. Yeah. So crazy. I love to see that. I mean, you know, not really selling out in any capacity. It's pretty great.
No, not at all.
Walking the walk, like you said. So yeah. Nice. We're about to jump into the freaking album now.
Dope.
Absolutely.
As we go along here.
I got performance stats for the boys.
Oh yeah, I will say, do we want to talk about the cover a little bit? We sometimes do this with the albums. It's almost like the anime intro segment for me.
Yeah,
I think it's necessary actually, because what a cover.
Yeah.
I have written down what it is, but you brought it up, so I don't know if you want to get into it.
Yeah, I know the general like gist of the story. I looked it up too. It's a very famous image, obviously, but it's from I might pronounce his name wrong, but Quang Duc is a Buddhist monk, I believe, in Vietnam when there was basically the gist of it was the Catholic I don't know, prime minister, president, the ruler of the country at the time, the leader was like being repressive towards, you know, Buddhist traditions and saying like they couldn't celebrate the Buddha's birthday. And then on the day, a lot of them went out and demonstrated and did it anyway. And that led to violent clashes with like the police, and several monks ended up being like murdered by, you know, the government and the police. And so after that, they, you know, like they lead a march, and basically he obviously takes the lotus position and goes into like full meditation, and has another monk dump gasoline over him and like lights him on fire. And apparently he didn't even like, that's the thing, he didn't like flinch or move at all and just burned to death like in the street as like a form of like protest of the government. Yeah,
that is, to put it bluntly, one of the most hardcore motherfuckers to ever exist. That is absurd. The self-immolation is like, yeah. And he did it in the middle of the street as well, like in a crowded street. And that the photo that's on the cover is a like cropped and zoom photo of the original one, and that photo won the World Press Photo in the year of 1963, or World Press Photo of the Year in 1963. And so yeah, it's exactly what you said. Everything you said was exactly what I had. So yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Go, David.
You actually had more than what I had about context. So yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, yeah, it's religious lack of religious freedom, repression. Obviously, it's a great image to stand for what they're about. I guess I think some people have had problems with like, if you're gonna put that on a piece of like an album and sell it, it's like maybe not meant for that. So I could see that perspective too, but at the same time, they're really about that. So it's not like they're just using it for some random, you know, shock value or whatever.
Right. It's the message throughout the entire album is like, fuck government oppression. It's exactly what was going on in that photo. Yeah. It's intense. It's very fucking intense.
Yeah. Unbelievable. I mean, jeez.
I always thought the flames looked like water.
I did too, initially, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
It just looks like that classic Japanese art of the crashing wave. I don't know if it probably has a name because it's every fucking where.
I think it's literally just called like the Great Wave or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Great Wave. Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, jumping into the music though. Just another bomb track.
Just
yes.
Oh, I got performance. If we want to do that real quick, yeah. Sure. It's you know, released in '92, as we all know. Triple platinum in the U.S. Peaked at, does Trevor want to guess, on the U.S. Billboard 200? It's a debut album, so not that high. But
16.
Not that high. Anyone else want to guess?
52.
52 is close.
70.
It's 45. Peaked at 45 on the Billboard Hot 200 chart. It also said it peaked at number 1 on the Heat Seekers chart, but I didn't know what that was. I don't know if you have any.
It's a weird chart. I couldn't tell you. It's one of those obscure charts.
Yeah, it didn't even have like a
shit about.
wiki link. So
yeah. No.
Anyway, It is number 24 on Rolling Stone's top 100 metal albums of all time, and 365 on their top 500 albums of all time, just albums in general. And it's included on the book 1001 Albums to Listen to Before You Die. So, very widely renowned as worth listening to, for sure.
Definitely worth listening to.
I can agree with that. Yes, this album, man. What's going on?
So like
going on?
I got a new appreciation for this one because I listened years ago in college, and I liked it a lot, but I didn't own it. That's when I just bought albums, so I just heard it on streaming. I only listened just diving back into it is freaking nutty butter, bro.
Before we get, I have to check everyone's thoroughness. Have y'all have heard "Killing the Name," right? And I'm asking Cameron and Alex. Have y'all heard that before this album?
Alex, do you want to go first?
He said no.
I said no.
You said no?
Wow.
I guess, not the full thing, but as soon as the riff came on, I was like, oh, I know this.
Yeah.
As soon as it was the dun, 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 I knew that immediately. And then I just didn't, I wasn't fully familiar with the rest of the song, but I had to have heard it somewhere.
And you snapped at me for In Bloom. And you don't know the whole entirety of Killing in the Name. Come on!
Bringing it back.
In Bloom was so much more widely accepted and culturally pervasive. Nirvana is so much more palatable than Rage Against the Machine, bro. What?
It is more palatable, but it's not what you just said.
So therefore it's more popularized. I'm way more likely to hear that on the radio than Killing in the Name.
You're wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty surprising to have not. I've heard it on the radio quite a few. I mean, they censor it, but it is pretty surprising. I think it's their biggest track. It has
it is their biggest track of all time.
500 million streams on Spotify or something. Yeah, it's massive as frick. Throughout the 90s and 2000s, it's kind of nutty. That and Bulls on Parade, Testify.
I guess I gotta adjust my my 6 hot bar radio stations.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, that's cool. He's going in with basically a new experience, not having heard anything.
No, yeah. I mean, I've heard this since I was fucking. This came out in '92. I think I heard this song for the first time on my mom's iPod, the really fat one. I can't remember what they called it, but I think it was just called the iPod.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
that was back when she had the uncensored version on there, and it scared the shit out of me as a kid. Because he just, he kind of screams, at the very end, he's just
kinda
very aggressive.
Just does.
Oh, yeah.
It's more like yelling. He's not screaming.
Well, okay. On the current scale of what screaming is in music, then yeah, I guess he's not screaming. But I mean, if you ask anyone,
people were screaming in music back then too. There's a
yeah.
I'm having a real conversation. Why are you getting all defensive?
Never mind.
Anyway. But yeah, I've heard this forever, and even just hearing it in the context of this album brought new life to it. And I've heard this 1,000 times.
Yeah, I can agree.
It's on JR all the time.
I never realized how it's one of them. It's obviously very simple, and it's a pretty broad song, but it does kind of get specific. And I never realized that point with the different refrains.
Yep.
Some of those who work forces are the same who burn crosses. I believe it was after Rodney King. They made that song.
I think it was 6 months after the Rodney King incident, actually.
Yeah. So
I counted on Genius. The amount of unique words on there, and this is rough, is 43.
Dang.
They repeat themselves. He repeats himself 17, 18 times, per verse, per chorus, whatever you have. And it somehow doesn't get old at all.
Yeah. I'm glad.
That's what I was gonna say for general thoughts. Was they repeat themselves a lot, especially on that track, but on other tracks as well, obviously. Where he just says the same 10-word line 15 times in a row, and I don't get bored at all either. It's just I don't know why, but it's. I mean, I guess I do know why, in the fact that it's so powerful and the guitar is so strong, and the rest of the instruments as well, but.
These songs are literally it's Riff City on here, and I know I've used that to describe another word too, but it's literally one juicy riff after another after another. That's the entirety of this album is a super slap riff, and then he's like, all right, I'm bored, let me go write another riff, Even though I've got a yummy one right here, I could just, you know, I could do a couple chords right here. Nah, I'm gonna do another riff. It's the whole thing. It's yummy.
It's mad yummy.
I think you
Tom Morello is disgusting.
For sure. I think you beamed that thought into my mind because I was walking around today, listening to it, and it was like I was like, damn, this is fucking Riff City. Like I was like, was it like? I don't know.
It's catchy as hell. Like the riffs on here get stuck in my head more often than his refrains and his lyrics. Like it's just that good.
I mean,
I get you. Yeah,
that's like a line on Bomb Track too, where he's like, I forget it word for word, but he's like, you know, the idea is like, yeah, the songs are mad catchy. It's gonna make you look twice at the lyrics. It's like, you know, we're gonna catch your attention with how dope we sound, and then like the lyrics actually mean a lot. So,
great formula. Yeah.
It is a great formula.
Honestly, I was worried about that.
Rap rock done right.
Oh, God, there's a lot. I mean, yeah.
This is like rap rock at perfection, and then like, you have Linkin Park, and then you have everyone else.
Right? Yeah, that's so true. I was thinking that, like,
makes
who's
sense.
Freaking with them? Like, all right, you got Linkin Park, and then you
have Linkin Park,
Biscuit?
And that's it. Hollywood Undead. I don't know.
Yeah. Dang. Okay. Yeah. It's pretty funny. And I was worried about the repetition because I was just thinking of the Daft Punk episode. It kept playing in my mind. I was like, oh no. I went like, yeah.
Keep going. I'm sorry.
Like we had the conversation about, you know, good repetition and bad, and it's like, where is this gonna fall for all these other guys? Because I know I love it, but
you took it right out of my mouth. Pause. I was gonna say that too. Like just the idea of it being good versus bad, and yeah. This is definitely good repetition for sure. It's his charisma too. It's not overproduced at all. It's like super raw.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's almost like they just one take this shit every time.
Yeah.
There's some. Go ahead, David. Go ahead.
It sounds like they're definitely just like all together, just have like, with a ton of high energy. I mean, you talked about his freaking ad-libs. That adds so much to the album to me, and you wouldn't do that if you're just, you know, like sitting there like, okay, let's re-record and do this separate track and whatever. Like they just, you can tell he's just feeling the frick out of him.
Exactly, yeah.
Just God dang.
This entire album was born for live performances.
Oh, I gotta. Yeah. I think they're touring with Run the Jewels, and I might have to go to another state to see that.
Shit.
Yeah,
I think you and I was thinking about that. I don't know when they go on sale, but I think you and I need to go on a trip.
I'm on board,
we need
bro.
to go on a boys trip.
I'm on board.
Get it. Yeah. Oh,
we definitely
I'm
need
ready.
to go on a boys trip. Cam, if you want to come, that would be flame.
That would be Unboxing Life hits the road, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we can all check it out. Dang.
But yeah,
yeah,
we totally skipped over Bomb Track, which is
just natural. Yeah, I think
incredible opening track.
Phenomenal opener. Yeah.
It kind of it's weird to say it grew on me because I always really liked it, but it's like I was always just like, okay, dope, and then I moved on to the rest of the album. But now I'm just like, all right, this is as good as anything else.
It's the most straightforward song on here, and it's the most,
for sure,
I feel like it's the most in your face, like aggressive one for me at least. Like that riff, it just, I want to like pop my neck out of my socket and then just like shake my head to headbang instead of me having to, you know what I mean? Like I want to decapitate myself and then headbang even harder, so I don't you know what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
Yes, I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
I think I know what you mean.
I think.
It's very hard.
I would destroy myself in a pit if I saw this.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's he says, you know, hard line after hard line, and it's like he ain't lying, bro. He sets himself up well. It's cool because he'll do a little bit of braggadocio, like, you know, I'm spitting nice or whatever on here, which see, because you know he's really I was thinking like 92 pre Wu-Tang, pre Nas, like this is
pre Nas. Like, yeah, that's the thing.
This is like some top tier, like from what I've heard, like there's not a lot of people who were rapping this well at that time, which is
I totally agree.
Insane.
It's also sick that it's like I'm gonna forget who else we talked about it with, where there was like lines. I think it might have been Ari, where it was like that this song is gonna be a banger or whatever is one of the
this song is a smash.
This song is a smash, yeah. Like but that's Ari, right? Like she's several albums in saying that, but like it's on this, it's your debut album. It's the fucking opener on your album, and you're like, this song fucking slaps, and I'm telling you that, and I'm 100% sure about it. Like, that's sick.
Yeah. It almost kind of pisses. You're talking about like the Ayo, it's just another bomb track part.
Yeah, because like the whole bomb track thing is like, you know, it's a great song, right?
Yeah,
that's the one.
He basically just says it's a slapper.
Yeah,
but like it kind of pisses me off when he does it like 6 songs in, and he's like, "Hey, yo, we got another bomb track for you." I think it's like "Know Your Enemy."
Oh, I think it is.
And I'm just like, nah, man, get that shit out of here. Edit that shit out. Like,
I like it because he's like, "Hey, we're coming through with another one."
Yeah, I wish he said it a different way though.
Okay,
I feel like bomb track should have had the only bomb track.
I get that.
That's just a really weird nitpick. So
yeah. Are you? So Alex, we haven't heard much from you. This is like we talked about the first couple tracks. You know, diving into it with this heavy music. Were you like, what am I getting into, or are you enjoying it? Like,
I mean, I was like, oh frick.
But you've never had any exposure to this band?
No, not really.
Wow.
I don't understand why that's so surprising.
Yeah, me neither. Honestly, that much, dude.
They're monumental. Like
Like I've always known. Like Rage Against the Machine is like is the shit. Whatever for especially this type of music. I mean, it's in the name. But it's just never exposed to them.
Yeah,
because I never tried. I guess.
I mean that's fine. I'm still gonna react the way I'm doing though, because like
I get
that's
you. Yeah,
nuts, but
they're huge. They were. Yeah. So yeah. On that note,
the instrumentation is cool. It is pretty loud, like, and I don't mean it as in volume wise. It's just, I don't know. For sure. Yeah, and it was kind of like how you're saying, where it's like repetitive, and like for me, like listening in the car, it's just like, dang, it felt a little long to me, but that's just me.
It is a very long album for what it is.
It's true.
A lot of the songs go at least 5 minutes.
Right, and a lot of my driving, I couldn't hear the whole thing because just how long it is. So like, I was having to like stop it and then pick it back up again, which was kind of challenging for me to do. But
it's hard to go 30 on a back road when he's like, "Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me." It's like you're like, I would like to speed and crash into a tree right now.
We don't do that.
Yes, don't do that.
If you are in your car right now listening to this podcast, please drive safe.
Yes, I might be 2 miles over the speed limit if I am hearing that.
2 miles.
That's as much as David's gonna do for sure. He's got the Pimp-mobile. He's still got a speed limit on it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's certainly freaking loud. Yeah. Well, I'm interested to see what we're thinking going forward, and I can't wait to hear favorite track because it is long, and there's, you could definitely say it's a pretty samey album.
Yes.
So, yeah. Like diving into it, it's kind of.
I don't want to say that it's formulaic.
They have a bit of a formula. I was gonna say like, if someone.
Not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's not. No, if it works like this, it's not.
Yeah, they definitely will build up to a freaking climax and a finisher most of the time, and like bring in these crazy riffs like you said, but they'll still play with the structure and stuff and have like a bit of a smoother track here and there. So. Yeah, like you could say "Take the Power Back" is that was almost a smooth transition, but I said Bauer, so it's okay.
Jack Bauer.
We out here podcasting, family.
Shout out to 24.
Certainly are. Take Jack Bauer back. Dope. Just another dope track, man. The bass.
Yes, I love this bass line so much, dude.
Oh the bass guitar has absolutely freaking entered the chat, dude. My eyes literally went wide when I was like, I think I was taking a walk the first time I listened to it, and I was like, oh shit! Like, it was just like, it was so good. It came in meaty and good.
A lot of this album reminds me of, because my dad used to be in a band, and they would have band practice every weekend, and it would be in a room right next to mine. So I would hear it the entire time. They're just playing, nice hard rock or whatever. But they would just have jam out sessions where they just fucking jam for a half hour, and the bassist would just start ripping shit. And it reminded me of this so much.
God,
it just brought me back.
Yeah,
That's great.
I feel like the bass is usually like like a background, basically tuned down, but it's so distinctive in this. It's incredible. I love it.
Which is like that's another point more because exactly like a lot of bands tend to just throw it down in the mix and they're just like, oh, it's there, you know, like if you have a great system, you can hear the bass, but most of the time it's muddy as fuck. Which is why, like, if you listen to like Red Hot Chili Peppers, their bassist is like widely considered to be one of the better rock bassists like of all time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but the reason behind that is like largely in part to the fact that he's so high in the mix that you can hear his riffs. Like he's pronounced in the mix, like you can actually hear him. So I feel like if a lot of bassists like just put more emphasis on the bass lines and like actually you could hear them, I feel like it would the instrument would have a little more respect, because a lot of people are just like, yeah, it's in the background.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely feel like it's kind of underutilized. Like, have it like even in hip hop, like you can definitely pick up on stuff, and not every hip hop song has like actual, like it might have 808s or whatever. That's also dope. But if you're having a bass line, just like have some like meaty, like if it's a sample or whatever, like mix it up and just have it like carry the groove, man. It can be so freaking effective. Like it's so good.
R&B is pretty good at that. R&B, it tends to be good, especially like modern R&B that I listen to. It tends to be a lot better at bringing the bass forward. So
I like that. Yeah. This is certainly the opposite of "And Justice for All" in that respect. Yes.
I think we're the only two that get that.
I think so.
Fine, yeah.
Went over my head, but that's okay. I love the. I mean, we talked about earlier the and then the instrumentation kicks in. It's like the interactions between his vocals and the instrumentation. The entire album is great, and I love it. I love it when he flexes on it. And he does shit like at the beginning of this song where he goes, "Bring that shit in," and then the entire fucking band like just kicks off, and it's like it just blows your speakers out, and you're like, "Fuck yes, dude!"
So hard, yeah. Oh my god.
There's a part on a Five Finger Death Punch album where he literally like yells out the guitarist's name, and he's like, "Zoltan, open the sky," and then it goes
oh my god,
ridiculous riff, like and a great guitar solo. So yeah, I love it too.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Yeah, I mean, funky freaking song, almost sounds not dated, but like from like a past era. You could almost, you know what I mean? Like, there's a bit of a dated aspect, but not really in a bad way, and I like that about it. Just like sounds like an older revolutionary track. He's definitely spitting on it, you know.
I think I like this hook the most on the album.
Oh wow!
Like,
okay,
it's really simple, right? Because he just has the tagline and he says, "Come on, come on," but the like, just I lost it in my head. I was just gonna try and replicate it, but just the guitar and them, it's like a really weird atmosphere that they bring to the hook. I don't know how to describe it. Like,
okay, that's dope. Yeah, I mean it's hard. Yeah.
He makes very good points. He is dropping bars, like you said. You know, this is the poetry we were talking about. Talks about like the Eurocentric curriculum and textbooks of like this is the Western perspective. Like we're learning all this stuff like from the perspective of the victor, right? Like history is written by the victors, all that good stuff, and like a lot of history is whitewashed. And so I remember. In like elementary school learning about like the Trail of Tears, stuff like that, and like which was obviously a massive tragedy and part genocide and just like absolute robbery of land and like just a scar on the face of humanity, right? And it's like it was like, yeah, this is a tragedy that happened in America and it was bad. And then we moved on.
And then they move on. Yeah, they move on to like the War of 1812 or something like that.
Yeah. Like literally, it was and especially with like. Even in, I think, like 7th grade, we learned about like all the that's the main thing, right? Is like the civil rights movement, like all these injustices, the police being completely racist, and like that's what they talk about in Killing in the Name of like, you know, the like police officers are the same people who are like in these racist organizations, stuff like that. Like the villains are our defense or whatever, and it's not. It ends up. With the system completely rigged because it is. And so like with the civil rights movement, all of those, the way the story was told to me and taught to me, and my experience is definitely not unique, was like, this is the past. Like, it's like the civil rights movement happened and like people struggled and died and fought and were injured, and then America became not racist anymore, was like basically how it was taught to me, which is obviously not the case. And I'm gonna need America for lyrics that are 30 years old to stop seeming like they could have been written yesterday. I'm really gonna need it to happen.
Killing in the Name?
Like Killing in the Name,
Thanks.
like this entire fucking album. Like nothing has changed. It's like, oh man, it's so infuriating, and it makes me want to scream "fuck you." I won't do it to tell me.
Yeah, it literally it adds like an edge of like pessimism to like when I listen to albums like this, honestly. But then again, you're like, okay, well, these guys are fighting against it, so I guess I can, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
It's also motivational. It's a weird like double-edged sword, but for sure, that's great summary of freaking the song. I want to say I love the line. I'm inferior. Who's inferior? Just like he's so good at being. He'll have like poetic stuff and like some bars and double entendres, and then he'll just be like, "Frick off!"
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, we need to check the interior of the system that only cares about one culture, and that is why we got to take the power back.
Yeah, man.
There's another line like in the beginning of this verse, which I hear every time when I'm looking at the lyrics right now. The present curriculum, I put my fist in them. The way he says that shit is so fucking. I'm just like, yo, whoa, you put your fist where? Exactly. What's good, Phil?
Yeah, students' eyes don't perceive the lies, bouncing off every fucking wall. And then they talk about the teachers just telling what he was taught, and so they finish off with like, because the circle of hatred continues unless we react, we got to take the power back, and then the whole fucking band kicks in again, and it's it's a fantastic song.
Honestly,
it is a great song. I totally agree.
Honestly,
Sheesh.
Exactly. And you know what else is a fantastic song, you fricks? And I'm looking out. I'm looking at y'all. If anyone has a freaking problem with this next song, the Metal Man has a problem with the
Metal Man. Okay, so that's the funny part is that this song, like the hook, if you want to call it, when he says "read my writing on the wall," and like they just go into this really down tempo, like almost death metal esque like riff.
Yeah,
it's like, like it's hard as shit, but I don't enjoy the verses.
Man.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
I'll second that. It's I will say it is
hard as fuck.
Yeah, agreed with that.
If we don't take action now, we'll settle for nothing later. Like that's great, but
it's a phenomenal message.
It is a phenomenal message.
Man.
The Metal Man doesn't like
the
it.
Metal
That's
Man.
Funny.
This is one of my favorites on the freaking album. Frick y'all.
Wow.
Bro.
Okay.
The verses
I wasn't expecting that, honestly.
Yeah, and it was a sleeper hit for me. Well, the first time I heard it, I loved it, but I like. I mean, the verses he repeats. He
loved it instantly. It was a sleeper.
Yeah, exactly. He repeats the verses.
Hey, that's not a sleeper.
A bit. I know it was a waker. I was awake. But it's fine. It's fine.
Goodness.
So he repeats himself, but I just feel like he gets uncharacteristically personal. He kind of doesn't really get personal anywhere else on the album, and he's like, "This is some deep freaking stuff." He's saying like, you know. The basically like it's a world of brutality, but it's a world I recognize, you know, having never seen the color of my father's eyes. So like the idea of using your own like awful experiences to be like, all right, well, I know the world is fricked, so at least I can acknowledge it and freaking see and, you know, do something about it. And then, what did he say? I got a 9. I got a sign set. And now I got a
name.
Oh, bro,
y'all are
killing me.
I do love it. I do love it as art and as poetry, because the juxtaposition of his like slow talking and the instrumentation is quiet, and then he says like, "And I got a name," and then it all just like you were saying is super ridiculously heavy and loud. So I definitely respect it. As I respect the lyricism, the personableness, I guess, if that's a word of it. But yeah, the song as a whole, I'm not a huge fan of.
It's I guess I'm on Genius, so I'm not taking credit for this interpolation of the lyrics, but got a 9 pistol, a sign, gang sign, a set which you rep, and now you've got a name as an identity. That's another way to look at it. That's cool.
Wow. Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
And
Dang.
I also love when they have great choruses, right? And then you'll switch one aspect of it, and it's a complete facelift. Like he switches the word suicide with genocide.
And even like he leads up to it, yeah, because he's like suicide, you know, obviously talking about being like in a dark place, but then he's like caught between my culture and the system, genocide. So he's like, I feel you on that. It's great. I definitely agree with that. And like you said, no. Go ahead.
There's a part where he's like, if ignorance is bliss, then knock the smile off my face. I wish he screamed bitch right there, because it would have rhymed and it would have been so powerful.
That line is hard as frick. I don't care what it is.
No, it is. But that should have been a bitch. Man. Every time I hear it, I'm like, I wish.
That's a bad word, Trevor. We don't use bad words out here.
Yeah, that line is insane. Like you said, the outro. We'll settle for nothing now. We'll settle for freaking nothing later.
Nothing later. It's
this
powerful.
Man is his vocals are so freaking raw and expressive.
They are.
Like he's definitely is not phoning it in, and you can tell he really means what he's talking about. Oh my god, it's so freaking hard.
He had to be so angry writing these like lyrics and being able to deliver them like this. It's not manufactured at all.
I think genuine is a very solid word for the lyricism and the delivery. Is like it doesn't feel faked or forced or performative at all. It's like it's all him. It's all like his true. It's straight from the dome. Yeah.
Yeah.
On to bullet.
Talking about straight from the dome.
Hey, nice.
Oh. This was my dad's gamer tag on PlayStation.
Bullet in the head.
Bullet in the head.
Nice.
And, like when I was like 13, we used to play COD together, and he played a shit ton of Black Ops 1, and that was his gamer tag. And he tried explaining it to me. He's like, it's from a Rage Against the Machine song, and I had never heard it in my life. That was before I knew what albums were really.
It happens.
Honestly. And he was like, yeah, they scream like bullet in your head at the end, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And then hearing this again just brings me back. So shout out to you, Dad, if you ever listen to this.
Man, yeah, that's dope. You got a bullet in your head. Yeah.
Your brain dead?
You got a freaking bullet in your head.
Is that not the best lyric on here, though?
Yeah, they
on this whole fucking album.
His delivery, it's so good.
Definitely.
Your brain dead?
They layer a reference to the Night of the Living Dead, the zombie movie, in there. It's like the whole, program zombies kind of a thing, like you're living your life like this, just absorbing what you're told and behaving as you're told, you might as well be dead.
Yeah, the amount of facts he's dropping on this album is, he's like Cameron on freaking a podcast, bro. It's just
hell yeah, brother.
Going crazy. I love the message, just you are freaking eating up the TV, bro, and now you are controlled by it.
The in-house drive-by is such a to execute that metaphor in like essentially 3 words is absurd to me. It's so perfectly put.
They say jump, you say how high.
I love this
that
hook.
phrase.
That hook is
that
fantastic.
Hook is
awesome.
It's one of my favorites. Yeah, the way the riff just comes in.
Yep.
The victim of the
in-house
drive.
drums too. It's
Oh
nice
my
and
God.
airy. I love it. I love it too.
Sheesh.
And it's got another strong outro. They're just like, honestly, like they're outro kings. Like they do this, that's their formula. They just they'll pick like 5 or 6 words and just loop it 17 times, but it's so fucking powerful that I don't ever get bored of it.
Build up to a nasty freaking crescendo. It works for them so perfectly. And
right, crescendo is definitely the word to use.
It could not work. He's the perfect freaking vocalist for it. Like, god dang. Nettie.
How you feel about it, Alex? You like bullet in the head?
The same way. Because it's a good line.
Yeah. Facts. It's a very straightforward song, to be honest. Yeah. No.
You alright?
Yeah.
That's about it. Let's know our enemy.
Know your enemy. God dang.
I kind of got like, and this is not nearly as fast as like a Metallica thrash metal riff, but I kind of got like Metallica vibes with this riff.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I love every time it's tuned down and they do that, and then it like everything kicks in and that main riff gets louder. They do that so well every time.
Yeah, I know. That's nasty.
Yeah, this is one of the tracks that particularly stood out to me. I would say it's one of my favorites, if not my favorite. I don't.
Oh, nice.
It's just based on the instrumentation alone, I would say, because this just goes crazy. And then they're like, especially when the guitar gets to the point where it's like, like,
yeah,
that's probably trash, but
no,
it's just as good as mine. So yeah,
yeah.
The solo on this one goes crazy. Yeah.
For sure, yeah, definitely. Like you're saying, the instrumentation, that like breakdown, where it's just like I guess the lead singer of Tool comes in and freaking does the vocals.
That's another thing we gotta talk about. I didn't realize, and we did this in pre-pro, but God, I didn't know that. So, Maynard James Keenan, that's his name, or that's his stage name, I think, which is the vocalist of Tool and A Perfect Circle, was on here, and David and I thought that it was just one of the band members singing it.
Yeah.
But it's fucking the guy from Tool. I was like, holy shit!
It's like out of nowhere. It's just like, I got no patience. It's like a short, freaking simple part.
Yeah.
It's like, surely you just got the drummer, right? Or just like some dude was just, Tom Morello was there, like saying it.
I thought it was Tom the whole time.
Yeah, like,
but then he belts out a note at the end, so yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was Zach or if that was, Tool Man, but.
Tool Man.
It sounded like Zach at the end, but I'm not sure. But it's the instrumentation, that breakdown is nutty. They just keep slamming, throwing stuff at you. It's nice. And
this is the only like outro that I don't like, actually.
I love this outro, actually.
I skip this one every time.
I love this outro. Yeah. I love that shit.
Yeah.
All
of which are American dreams.
Yeah, and the instrumentation cuts and he's still yelling it.
Yeah, I wish they didn't cut the intro or the instrumentation.
I like that.
Honestly, I feel that. I definitely feel that. I agree with that.
I'm on camera.
He lists them off as compromise, conformity, assimilation, submission, ignorance, hypocrisy, brutality, and the elite.
That's all great. It's wonderful. But by the time he gets to
it's so powerful,
cutting out the instrumentation, I have already forgotten what he listed off. And I'm just like, what is he referring to? And then I have to go back and listen to it again, and I forgot it again. It happened every time I listened to this track. I was sick of it. Like,
because then at the end I was like, I'm thinking he's talking about American dreams,
Yeah, it certainly is.
Can't relate. But yeah, I think it's super powerful. I like that outro a lot.
I'm with Cameron. Yeah.
In the middle, it's another one of the what was the line you referenced earlier where it was like who like I'm inferior, who's inferior, right? That's what it was. There's another one of those where he's like, finger to the land of the chains. What? The land of the free? Whoever told you that is your enemy. And it's like, it's such a good bar in the middle of the.
It comes to, or what? It sticks out to me as one of the more like the lyrics are just like relentlessly like very freaking revolutionary, very like I mean anti-American. I mean just like you said, that line is just like there's no there's not really any like wiggle room or like gray area of like is he criticizing?
I wonder. Like this could be read like this if you put it in this lens. No, it's fucking there. Yeah, and it's that's very much the thing is like and they get to that on the last track, which is Freedom, about like the American dream as it's depicted to the world only exists for a certain population of people. Is like this super picturesque like land of the free, home of the brave bullshit is like it's not this way for literally millions of people every day. Is like this dream is either inachievable or just doesn't exist, and so they just like shatter that picture. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I must agree with you. And I'm going to agree with myself that the next song is another one of my freaking favorites, and it's one of the best songs on. You freaks.
You freaks.
Damn, I know I remember this song, but I don't remember it well enough to know how it goes, man.
It comes in with that like which is like used in like movies.
Okay.
I feel like it's been used in like different stuff like that.
Kind of feels like a golden eye like melody almost.
Yeah. Just nasty freaking riff, and then just brother. This song to me is like a freaking masterpiece, brother. This is a 5 out of 5 freaking when you nut. Yeah, Wake Up is sheesharoonie, my guys. I'm like, I don't even know what words to describe it. I just love every part of it. God,
that's dope.
I love this one as well.
He talks about like I was trying to pull up the lyrics as I was saying that too. Just like they went after King when he spoke out on Vietnam. He turned the power to the have-nots, and then came the shot.
And
he does that for Malcolm X too. Like they murdered X and tried to blame it on Islam. And then that refrain of "then came the shot." It just the lyrics like it's so they do the metal so well on this song and the freaking bidding. It's like you guys are not freaking giving me a break. Like you are not giving any other freaking like fusion band a freaking break out here. Like,
no, not at all.
It's kind of nuts. I think there's like a Muhammad Ali line. I gotta find it, but I don't know. It's kind of nuts. Oh yeah, set the groove, then stick and move like I was Cassius. Rip the stutter step, then bomb my left upon the fascist. I
can't find it.
That's some bars for you. And
I see it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, in the age of the internet, like the idea of conspiracy theory and the fact that the government is like inherently evil in a lot of ways and has done terrible things, especially like the CIA and FBI, where from its inception and for a while, and definitely during the civil rights movement, the FBI was just like its own independent agency run by J. Edgar Hoover that could do whatever the fuck they wanted with execute authority and basically did not have to answer to anyone. Like they didn't have to report to the president. They didn't have to do shit. They could do whatever J. Edgar Hoover's agenda was, whatever he saw as the right thing for America, he could execute and do. And so that's like the whole thing about taking out Malcolm X and the quotes they get into of like, you know, he may be a brave contender for this position, but should he abandon his supposed obedience to the white liberal doctrine of nonviolence and embrace black nationalism, through counterintelligence, it should be possible to pinpoint potential troublemakers and neutralize them. And that's the line he repeats over and over again about neutralize them, and then it goes into him screaming, "Wake up!"
Yeah, that's like, to be clear, that's a direct quote from J. Edgar Hoover, the director of the FBI at the time. Yeah, he's like, like you said, they literally just carried out schemes to like destroy these groups and like kill people and like throw them in prison because they didn't like their political agenda was, you know, very non-status quo and trying to get civil rights for more people and everything. So it's, I mean, they get very freaking specific, and kudos for them, because it's great to just have a song where it's like, you know, frick you, I won't do what you tell me, but then back it up with some actual facts that like it's just, it gives you the full package almost, you know. Just and then when he says what was the price on his head the second time, I feel like he almost had an aneurysm. I swear he belts that so hard, like he gives it his all. Oh my god, yeah. It's so reverberated a little bit. And then it just has like that little like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, and then he goes, I think I heard a shot, and then the freaking first riff comes back in. Oh my freaking god!
I love that bit as well, because I could be wrong, but the way I interpret that of like, I think I heard a shot, is like them recognizing themselves as putting themselves in the shoes of these people who, because they spoke out, got taken out or silenced in one way or another.
Bullets whizzing by that are missing.
Yeah, and so it's like now it's like, oh, are we now the targets? Like, I think I heard a shot. It's like we could pay for this, but who gives a fuck? To me.
Yeah. Yep. And that's a freaking goodness gracious.
It hits especially hard too, because the whole like the wake up sheeple thing has been memed to death now, right? Like with all that, like 30 years later, right? But with this of like that initial screaming of wake up, like it, to my knowledge, wasn't a very common phrase to use to talk to people about like realizing that the government is not what they think it is.
Yeah, it's definitely, especially with the manic instrumentation at the very end where he's just literally screaming, "Wake up!" It's like if you take one thing away from this, it's like to, kind of educate yourself the way that just you find the answers, not be fed them. But
yeah,
yeah,
for sure,
it's a powerful song.
Yeah, and I think they do a great job of sequencing on this album because I've had this experience multiple times where like by the end of Wake Up, I'm like almost exhausted sometimes. Not that I'm not enjoying it, but I'm like, okay, man. And then Fistful of Steel is like a lot more low key.
It's much lighter.
This song is hard as fuck.
It is, and it's like it's insane that this is the most like low key, like just like chill, like groovy song. But
that is hilarious.
It's still so freaking hard, but. Like it's such a nice like switch up. It's like slower. He's just like rapping, and there's like they still build the freaking yelling at the end, but yeah,
I'm still bopping my head to the hook on here.
Oh yeah,
it's full of steel. Because I know the power of a question. That shit is hard.
I'm grooving with the bass line, brother, because the bass line.
Absolutely.
The bass on here the bass on this album is insane.
Oh my god. Yeah.
He is definitely meaty.
It's nutty, bro. Smooth as frick. God dang.
It is.
And if the vibe was suicide, then you would push the button. But if you're bowing down, then let me do the cutting.
Yeah. Sheesh. That's pretty hard. God dang. Yeah. I think he says something like 44 full of bullets. He's talking about like I don't know what the frick part it is, but he's just saying like yeah. It's just hard. He's spitting nice yet again. I don't know.
He likens it to a roulette ball.
Right.
Kind of
yeah.
Russian roulette with like it's like a kind of like a parallel.
And like 44 full of bullets, face full of pale, eyes full of empty, stare full of nails, a roulette ball rolls alone on the wheel, a mind full of fire, and a fistful of steel. Yee. I have these songs where I'm like, all right, man, that was spitting, but I don't remember if he had any crazy lyrics on this one, and then he does, and it's every single song. So I'm just like,
at least, he's got a few quotables on here for sure.
Yeah,
that could be taken out of context and just thrown in as poems by themselves.
Yeah, it's very poetic, that part. Yeah, for sure.
Pretty straightforward song.
Yeah.
You guys want to talk about apartheid?
Right, the Township Rebellion.
I am.
Exactly.
I am talking about Township Rebellion.
That's what it's in reference to.
Yes, which I didn't realize was so very directly about apartheid in South Africa. Until I looked it up, I didn't realize it was very one-to-one. I thought he was still speaking a bit metaphorically about general in the world, but he references South Africa by name multiple times. He says the Cape of No Hope as opposed to the Cape of Good Hope, which is the Horn of Africa. So good little play on words, metaphors, all that stuff. And the end of apartheid in South Africa did not occur until 2 years after this album was released. It didn't end until 1994. And of course the name comes from the fact that they were made to stay in basically ghettos or internment zones that they called townships. And it's basically a call of like, fuck that. Like it's the same thing as take the power back. It's like, you don't deserve to be treated this way.
There was an actual township rebellion where many people were killed, and exactly. I somehow didn't realize it was like going on during apartheid. I was like, oh yeah, they're throwing back to the past, but no, it's literally like the current day, 90s. That's nuts as frick.
Supposedly negotiations, as they called it, started in 1990 or 1991, and then it didn't like get settled until 94, which then the end of the law saying that this race can't be here is not the end of racism. We obviously see that in America very extensively with slavery just turning into sharecropping and Jim Crow and all that stuff, and then took another 100 years for the civil rights movement to happen, and we obviously still have massive problems with racism and everything in America. So I don't know that much about South Africa. I can't imagine it's going that great, but at least steps in the right direction, of course. So
yeah. And this song has a few of my favorite lines probably on the album. The freaking
agreed.
This is a stick up, our freedom or your life. Lord, I wish I could be peaceful, but there can be no sequel. Now freedom must be fundamental in Johannesburg or South Central. Facts. That's such a great just solidarity. Like freedom everywhere has to be the freaking priority.
Yep.
Like, you know, it's just the same across the board. Like freedom for all the freaking people. It's so freaking good. Just the hook is hard as frick. Yeah,
I love this hook.
The line I love is
you heard me repeating it several million times. Bro, I love this shit.
Yeah,
the line I love because it holds true throughout history and throughout humanity is when ignorance reigns, life is lost.
Life is lost.
Yep, I was gonna say that one too.
It's never untrue. Never.
Yep, absolutely. Oh my god, that's so good. Yeah, why it's important to be educated on such topics and, you know, do what you can, I guess, or at least know what's going on.
Yeah, at least be aware.
And as we have said many, many times on this podcast, education through multiple and unbiased sources.
Yeah,
acknowledge when your sources have an agenda, and understand that they might be telling you what they want to tell you, as opposed to what you need to be told. So, do your own research. Get out there.
And yeah, data based and all that good stuff for sure.
Peer reviewed.
Yeah, because the stuff they're talking about is like, you know, I don't know. I feel like that's obviously
they knew this shit before Google was a thing, though. Too that's another thing that was blowing my mind. I know that obviously civilization as a whole existed before the internet, but to have such a grasp on and like a completely against the status quo view of the world without the World Wide Web is insane to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's we're talking about how educated they were, and just like I think Zach De La Rocha had talked about, you know, being Mexican in America and stuff. Like you got personal experience, and he was just, I mean, yeah, the freaking activist before the internet is like you really just had to read and like meet people and freaking like it's crazy like how involved it is. Yeah,
and we'll never know the names of a lot of the hero journalists who were like pursuing the truth at all costs to get that kind of information out and to say like this is a problem and these people need help. It's like, well, you know, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of moving parts there, and you know, whoever they were, thank you to them for doing their part to try to fix that type of stuff and get the word out.
Yeah. Yep. Man.
On to the track that I forget every time.
Oh yeah, Freedom.
This one didn't stick in my head, man, unfortunately. But there is one bit on here that it puzzled me every time I heard it, and only just now know what it means. Where he says 3 million gone, come on, because you know they're counting backwards to zero, referring back to the genocide of Native Americans by European settlers. The Europeans were counting backwards to zero as the native populations dwindled. That's disgusting.
Yeah, bro.
Yep. Yeah,
and it's that's an estimation as of 30 years ago. We we basically know now that those estimations are low because of, I mean, obviously a lot of the genocide happened even like incidentally, like accidentally, when we just showed up and started. I mean, I say we, it's fucking white Europeans from forever ago. But when white Europeans from forever ago initially showed up and spread those diseases into the air, there was like an invisible and like unrecorded now, because so much of their history is destroyed and everything, both in North and South America, just absolute destruction of the population. So it was probably several millions of people. 3 million might be more accurate to just America itself, but like so many fucking people died. Just through the disease, and then obviously through settlement and forced relocation and all that stuff. That was part of what I was saying earlier with the Trail of Tears obviously being the most glaring example that's on the books, but that just happened everywhere, and so much culture got destroyed, and just it was the evisceration of a people, and it is a wrongdoing that humanity will have on its record forever.
Yeah, I think he even references it at the beginning. He's saying like, he's talking about his ink bottle, but he says Inca, my ink bottle, like paint a picture, basically, something like that. But the Inca people, like indigenous people of Central America, who also get, you know, wiped
Peru,
out and
yeah.
attacked, and all these the same things happening across the board. Yeah, I'm not with you, Trevor. I love the song quite a bit. I think the it's kind of, I mean, they do kind of interesting different thing with like it being like super quiet and just talking about like the the tic-tac-toe bars and stuff, and then they'll like kick into the riff. They'll kick into the heavy stuff and then go back. I guess they kind of do that multiple times.
They do that on basically every song.
No, yeah, I know. I don't know exactly how to put it in. I feel like they do a little. But either way, I like the tic-tac-toe analogy, and then just the anger is a gift is a pretty good bar. Kind of sums up his attitude. Makes sense. And,
yeah, I wish I just remembered it more. It's just one of those. The album is a little too long for me.
Yeah, the final freaking refrain of the album, freedom, yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Where he just belts out the right at the very end.
Yeah, just like great sum up of what they're talking about.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's I thought you would like the line a lot, Trevor. Anger is a gift.
Oh yeah.
What do you mean? I'm never angry.
I know. I'm joking too because you don't like it when I call the
Super Mario
anyone in metal screaming. I'm like, that guy sounds angry, and you're like, no, Cameron, he's just expressing his true and I'm like, he's angry. But yeah, he's screaming freedom over and over again is a way to get the point across of like, it's exactly what we talked about earlier with frick me. I'll find it.
Frick me.
Exactly what we talked about earlier, and I already said it, as like the land of the free, home of the brave, is like you don't exactly get to participate in that freedom if you've been genocided. Not exactly. Yeah. It's kind of a qualification to So it's, and obviously they make references to like, oh, the Native Americans are fine now because they have their casinos and they have all this stuff. Like they make references of like because there used to be billboards of like come and play, and so one of the lines in the song is like come and play.
Forget about the movement.
Forget about it. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, let's just put all that behind us. The death toll on each side is not even fucking close to proportional. But let's just, you have casinos now, so we're even. It's like it's all hypocrisy, which is one of the American dreams, right? So it's it's an intense album throughout for sure. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm really glad we did it. And I will definitely be returning to it frequently.
Yeah, for sure. I'm ready to give a rating, and it might go up, but it's hasn't been too long that I've been listening to it, but this was like an easy freaking 9 or higher. Like it might go, it could only go up from that. I freaking love this album. If you expected me not to like this album, I don't know what to tell you.
This must be your first episode of Music Box.
Yeah, for sure. So I
knew
so
you
glad.
liked this album before we even Once we were talking about doing this, I'm like, yeah, this is a given for sure.
Yeah, indeed.
It says everything you love about music.
Honestly, freaking if you like heavy music or freaking revolutionary type lyric, I don't know, anti-establishment, hip hop.
Exactly.
It's just which is they just put on a clinic in so many ways. I'm gonna probably dive more into their discography.
Same.
This was one of the best albums I've heard in a minute. Honestly, I think it's fantastic, and it might go above a 10 after this, or above a 10, above a 9 after this. Not chill. Might go above a 9.
Not chill.
Jeremy would have a heart attack.
You certainly would.
Chill.
Yeah.
It's like, I agree. I'd say 8.5 for me. That might go up as well. Like we talked about RTJ earlier, it's that exact type lyricism, that revolutionary lyricism. It's a cool little thing I picked up while I was doing my research about the numbers and everything, is that it's literally in their blood, being that De La Rocha's paternal grandfather, Isaac De La Rocha Beltran, was a Mexican revolutionary who fought in the Mexican Revolution. And Tom Morello's mother, Mary Morello, was involved in the civil rights movement and the NAACP, and was a longtime activist for the Chicago Urban League. So it's just like they were both in the families of people who've been doing this fucking thing. So it's great to see, take the power back.
Yeah.
8.5.
Nice.
Take the power bag. Your album's trash.
No.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Alex, how you feeling about it?
I'll tell you what it is. I think it's not just this album. It's the journey that we've been on listening to this type of music, man. And I'm finding something out about myself. It's just that I want to like this genre, but it doesn't resonate with me. I don't know what it is, man. I can't tell you.
Genres of rock, as in just rock?
I wouldn't say. I mean, it's like, is it like? Would you consider it a subgenre of rock?
Yeah, this is like rap metal, like.
I wouldn't. Not even the rap part. I would say just like the heavier stuff. It's just even most rock. I mean, I like some rock. It's just I don't know, something about it. It's just not for me, and so I definitely respect them. I respect that they're about what they're talking about. You know, I respect it, but it's just not something that I would like. That I willingly would turn on and get hyped to.
Are you not a fan of like the guitar, bass, drums, instrumental group, like as a sound?
No, I mean, that's the thing, because like I can appreciate the production that goes into it, but it's just it doesn't get me pumped. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah. That's blasphemy. Blasphemy.
I got Alex. Honestly, I felt the same way when I first like started into it. When I was just like hearing stuff through Trevor's mic on Xbox, basically. Like I was like, that ain't it. Like I respect him for it. Like that's fine. But that it all sounds the same. So I don't know. You know, if you're in the market for it, I'd say keep exploring, because they're definitely like I started off on that.
We've done quite a few albums. So.
that's very fair. That's very fair. But yeah, I don't know. You were finishing that. Go ahead.
No, that was pretty much it.
You were done. Okay.
I feel it. Yeah, I get it. It's not everybody's thing. Trevor, you got a rating for it?
I got a rating. I think I'm gonna give it a solid 8. I think it would be much higher if it was just shorter. I feel like they could trim a little bit of this, but it kind of loses me towards the end.
Dang.
But not the end being like, you know, because I love Fistful of Steel. That's track 8, and I do like Township Rebellion. But it's a lot. It's really long for what it is. It's 10 tracks and it's like 55 minutes long. It's a long album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is a bit formulaic, but the formula that they have works like a charm. This album is incredibly important for various reasons. Just listen to the last hour that we just talked about it.
Yeah.
Tom Morello is a legend. I don't know where he sits in terms of like greatest of all time, but he's got to be up there. He deserves to be mentioned with like Slash and them. So
yeah,
fucking fantastic group. And like David said, I can't wait to dive into their discography as well, because I only know the hits. Like before we listened to this album, I only knew the hits, like Testify, Guerrilla Radio, you know, the Sleep Now in the Fire,
fucking fake
all
rich
that. Hey, I never claimed to be one.
Yeah,
but
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Me too, man. Me too. I'm glad too, guys, and I'm glad y'all listened and checked us out. I mean, if you want to check us out, check the description. Check out the freaking stuff below our videos of us
on YouTube.
Our videos
on YouTube.
Social. Yeah. You know,
this is why Cameron does it.
I was gonna say you're stealing my thunder.
I know. I was trying to contribute a little bit to it, but
nah, it's fine. It's fine, man. Do you? Bro.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, keep freaking fighting the good fight. Keep on rocking in the free world. And it's been real, everybody. What is that? I don't even know.
That's a song. A song.
Okay.
Did you say "Rockin' in the Free World" without knowing that there's a song called "Rockin' in the Free World"?
I was doing the Nardwar outro. If anyone knows Nardwar.
No, it's it's a Mad Boomer song. I think it's like a one-hit wonder. I don't know who it is, but
I have no clue.
I gotcha. Dang, never heard it, man. But you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna look that up before I get roasted.
I was gonna say I don't think that's a one-hit wonder.
Neil Young.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's not.
Was big.
He's big. He did some other stuff, I'm sure.
He did some other stuff, yeah, I'm sure.
Well,
yeah,
like David said, man. David said it has been real, you know. We're learning about each other. I guess I'm the only one who's learning about myself. Well, you're learning about that could be taken wrong, but you know what I mean. But
I got you.
I guess you could look forward to because the next album is going to be Scaled and Icy, right? If I'm not mistaken, by the 21 Pilots.
By 21 Pilots.
So I'm interested to listen to that. We're going to be bringing that to you. The next music box you can look forward. Yep. And with that, I'll say I love you all.
Absolutely. And if you want to find us, like David said, you can do that at Unboxing Life Pod on Instagram and Twitter and r/Unboxing Life Podcast. We would love it if you come start a conversation with us, tweet some stuff at us, recommendations, feedback, anything is great. Also, those reviews on iTunes, on Apple Podcasts, those are great. They help us out massively, so hit us up with those. And anything else you want to reach out to us on. So yeah. That's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this episode for sure. And I will say, be kind to each other and stay safe.
Sweet. Yeah, be excellent to everyone as always. If you want to watch us on Twitch, go in the description. I'm going to pull a David. I don't give a fuck. I'm not spelling it out for y'all. If y'all really cared, y'all be there already.
All right, relax.
I'm joking.
The view count drops.
I'm joking. I love every one of y'all that supports this podcast and our streams and our music and whatever the fuck we put out. Like every one of y'all that shows up is wonderful. Thank you guys so much.
For sure.
Hope you guys enjoyed. And like to tack on to what Alex said, we'll be doing the 21 Pilots album that just came out last week, next podcast. And also the week after that, we're gonna get the boy Brian back on for a couple episodes, and we're gonna do Grimes's third or fourth album. I think it's the fourth, Art Angels. So that's his like favorite artist of all time, like ever. So it'll be nice to have him on as a part reviewer.
Yeah. We haven't had him on in a minute.
We haven't had him on in like over almost 50 episodes. Yeah.
He was the first. The last time we had him, it was the first episode we had camera on YouTube, right?
Yeah. I think.
Wow, really?
Episode, yeah.
My God,
that's crazy. That's freaking nuts.
It's been a minute.
We'll bring this back. But
yeah.
Yeah, I'll just keep it nice and sweet. I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out, baby.
Yeah.
Not leaving the in.
No, do it, please. I want to.